Hmm. Born with heaven in their eyes, God sent innocent, the promise of life. Born into this mess we've made, holding the future and hope of better days. 'Cause there is nothing more beautiful and wild than the dreams that grow in the heart of every child. They are the roses, they are the lights that shine, they are the waves that rolling on the ocean tide. They are angels, they are souls in flight, they are the hope that everything's gonna be alright. They are the roses.
They didn't know why they were hungry, alone, and without hope. Just that they were. Some wandered the neighborhood begging for food. Some sat in wretched shacks waiting for love and care that would never come. Some were in the custody of authorities, abandoned by their parents or taken away because of neglect. Day by day they grew weaker, their stomachs shrinking to the point where even the scraps they were given, or they found, made them sick. But the emptiness in their stomachs was nothing compared to the emptiness in their hearts. It had been a very long time since they found a reason to smile. They lived in an area where 7 out of 10 people do not have a job. There are people that care, but they struggle to feed their own families. Simply put, Haiti is not a good place to become an orphan. It's hard to imagine what goes through a child's mind when their parents leave them, either because they have died or given up trying to care for their children and themselves. I wonder, do they think it is something that they have done? Do they think it is their fault? At what point did they finally give up and realize that mommy and daddy are never coming home? Do they ever? I look at the faces of the children and try to imagine what's in their hearts and minds. It's impossible for me to do so because I've never suffered in the way that they have. I have never really been alone or starving, and I've never completely lost hope or had a reason to. But I do know what sadness feels like and looks like. When I look in the faces of these children, I see the very definition of sadness, of hopelessness, and it's heartbreaking. I also wonder when I look at them how close they were to the point of no return. There is such a thing. But there aren't pictures of those children, only markers where they've been laid to rest. Thankfully for these young children, that point was never reached. I can imagine Mr. Faton, director of Hope Home in Haiti, seeking these children out. They wouldn't be hard to spot. I can imagine him watching them over time and seeing them alone again and again. And each time he saw them, they looked worse than the time before. And so, Mr. Faton, being one of those special people that does more than just feel compassion, took the next step and took them in. I'm sure they were scared. I'm sure that they wondered where they were going and what would happen. But desperation had left them with no other choice than to go with this man who is offering them food and a place to sleep. The place they go is humble. There's no running water and furnishings are non-existent. There are no cooking utensils, beds, or even much food. But this isn't the first time Mr. Faton has had a children's home where he cared for orphans, and he knows what to do. Mr. Faton reached out through friends who know Orphan's Lifeline International, and we began our assessment process. As you can imagine, we were heartbroken by the conditions of the children, and did everything we could to hurry the process along and still be thorough. As the process moved along, we were sent updated photos of the children, and we could immediately begin to see improvements. How strange it must have been for the children to suddenly move from hunger to nutritious food that satisfied empty feelings in their bodies. How strange it must have been to move from utter loneliness to love and care that satisfied the emptiness in their souls. We set the startup funding for all the initial necessities: money for food, for clothing, for cooking and cleaning products, for beds and bedding. And so they went from sleeping on the ground to sleeping in beds, from not knowing what the day would bring to a schedule that includes education, time as a family, and spiritual nurturing. They're all just simple things that most of us have in our lives every day, but things that for some are rare and precious, a treasure to cherish. Then more updates came, more photos, then again and again. With each new update, we watched the transformation, truly amazing and heartwarming. With each new set of photos, the change in the children is so dramatic. First, their ribs are no longer showing, and the sunken cheeks fill out a bit. Then the hollow looks in their eyes begins to fade, and smiles are beginning to show on the corners of their lips. They are learning to trust, starting to believe that the good things might just keep coming. Finally, then, the transformation is complete. All signs that the children have ever even suffered are gone on the outside. Dull, sunken eyes are now bright, and there's a sparkle there, evidence that the spirit is healing as well. Their minds and spirits are being fed and healed along with their bodies, and they know that they're loved, that people care. They have learned that they have value and importance, that it was not their fault, that they were left alone.
Born with heaven
and in finding peace,
God
they're
sent
finding hope.
innocent, the promise of life. Born into this mess we've made, holding the future and hope of better days. 'Cause there is nothing more beautiful and wild than the dreams that grow in the heart of every child. They are the roses, they are the lights that shine, they are the waves that rolling on the ocean tide. They are angels, they are souls in flight, they are the hope that everything's gonna be alright. They are the roses. Imagine a place filled with happy sounds, a playground where every child is safe, where people join hands, write your heart to children. We'll all have a chance in every family, in every tribe, in every town.